Welcome to another edition of the Sabres Spotlight on the Marian Sports Network. I am Wade Bates, and the Marian men's lacrosse team gets ready to start season number 2, scheduled to play this Saturday against Carroll at Smith Field. That's if Coach Bob Leary's guys are out there shoveling the field with all the snow we're getting this week. But exciting time for Marian and men's lacrosse. Coach Leary, first of all, thanks for joining us tonight on the Sabres Spotlight.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, how has it been for you? You took over the Marian lacrosse program, I guess, last spring, and it's kind of been a whirlwind, and here we are getting ready to get things going.
Well, I took over August 1st, I think, so don't give me too much credit as far as that goes. It's been great. Everything's been great.
So what led you to Marian here? When you saw that Marian had a lacrosse opening, what interested you and piqued your interest about the Marian University lacrosse program?
There was a sign that said free chicken, and that's what it was. I decided I wanted some free chicken. So, no, in all sincerity, I decided to interview and put my name in, and I really I was intrigued by what I saw, and I saw a lot of upside potential, and I think there's a lot of upside potential here all the way around. So I'm excited to be a part of it.
Now, can you talk about your lacrosse background, because you've been involved in the sport for quite a long time, had some success at different levels of lacrosse, and just kind of talk about how you ended up here at Marian, or before you ended up at Marian, where you kind of been.
How much time do we have? It's I'm an old guy, so. I played high school lacrosse in Central New York at a place called Whitesboro High School, and then I played junior college at Herkimer County Community College, and we were very good there. We had a legendary coach by the name of Paul Wareham. I learned quite a bit from him, and I also played soccer, and Perry Nizzi was our coach, is a very, very big influence as a soccer coach. So after that, I transferred to Oneonta State, and I played for another legend, although a little bit more quirky, a guy named Cornelius Lynch, and had a great group of guys there, and I got right into coaching right after. So I coached at Whitesboro. I coached at SUNY Utica Rome at the time. It was an all-transfer school. Then I coached at Delhi. I coached women's soccer and men's lacrosse for a number of years there, and then I was at Onondaga Community College. So that pretty much brings me up to speed with being here as far as that goes. I was also on the Iroquois national coaching staff. So I got a bronze medal, and I have 2 national championships, and I have 13 Coach of the Years with the 2 sports combined. So I've had a fortunate career. I didn't play in any games that I got an honor for, so it was all on the sweat of somebody else.
Is it one of those things during your career playing that you always thought you were going to get into coaching, get interested in coaching lacrosse?
You know what? I didn't think I was going to. It just happened. After I graduated from Oneonta, my coach had recommended me to a camp, and I worked at All-American Lacrosse Camp at Hamilton College at the time, and for one of the refs named Walt Munzie, great guy, and I found out that Army had one and Rutgers had one, and the next thing you know, I was putting off the real world for a little while, and then fast forward to now, and I've put the real world off very effectively.
Now, what's your take on, obviously, East Coast lacrosse is huge compared to what it is maybe in the Midwest. Just how would you compare lacrosse on the East Coast to where it's at when you come here to Wisconsin and you see what our conference is like, and just how lacrosse is in general in the Midwest?
Well, I think in the Midwest, first of all, it gets better every time I come out here. And I've been coming out to Notre Dame and working their camp for, almost 20 years. So this is my first time in the Midwest, but the athletes, they don't grow them any different. They're not feeding them special water in the East or anything. It's just in the East. The kids start playing lacrosse at a younger age, and they're likely to have a father, or maybe even in some communities, grandfather who played, and that's not happening. So it's almost like the 70s out here, how it was back east when I was playing. And so there's a little bit more of a tendency for guys to dodge to the goal here, and in the East it's a little bit more about off ball and ball movement and stuff, and we're going to try to we're going to try to bring that style and some of the box stuff to out here.
When it comes to recruiting in the state of Wisconsin, are you seeing opportunities growing for kids to play lacrosse, whether it be at the club level, through high schools and such? I mean, what is your take on Wisconsin and then just maybe the surrounding states on what it's like for potential student athletes when it comes to opportunities to play lacrosse?
Well, I think that there's plenty of opportunity for a kid from Wisconsin. I feel like any kid playing lacrosse, there's a program for every kid. Really, I think that every kid, if they want to play college lacrosse, they can find an opportunity at the right place, at the right level. We're not all going to Hopkins or Syracuse, but I think that that sort of opportunity can be afforded to a kid who's going to be realistic and who's going to pursue their goal. And I think as far as Wisconsin lacrosse, I look at Fond du Lac in particular. We have all the resources we need to start a youth program here. We're going to try to get that launched shortly. And I feel like this community doesn't actually realize how successful, how well equipped they are for a youth program. I feel like it's going to be very successful here.
Talking with Bob Leary, Marian's men's lacrosse coach here on the Sabres Spotlight on the Marian Sports Network. Now, your first year here, but when you went back and looked at film and looking at the student athletes you have coming back, just what's your take on where the lacrosse program is with 1 year under their belt?
Well, I think they were 5-12 last year, and I think they had 5 losses by a combined 8 goals, something like that. So they did a nice job last year. So the bar isn't, it's not set as low as it possibly could be. And they did that with a limited roster with like 15 guys. So we're in a much better situation that way. We've got recruiting class number 2 here, working on number 3. So we've got plenty of kids. I think we're able to play a much more up pace, kind of the style I'm used to from Herkimer and OCC. As a result of having the numbers, and I think it's going to be a product that's going to be watchable. The challenge is for us to translate that into wins and losses, and I think the potential is definitely there. We have some. We're not starting with an empty cupboard. The cupboard was fairly well stocked when I got here.
Yeah, you had some guys last year that were able to put able to score some goals, and you had some, just in general. I mean, you had. From a person watching lacrosse for the first time ever, you had it seemed like some exciting players.
Right. Klotz was Rookie of the Year last year, so the Houlihan brothers both had very big points. But it's gonna. I think we're gonna be able to spread that out a little bit this year because I think we have, options. 4, 5, 6, 7 are going to be viable. So I think it's going to be balanced as far as that sort of thing goes, and I think. I would like to think we're going to score a lot of goals, and hopefully we're not going to let too many in.
Numbers-wise, where are you at when it comes to rosters? I mean, are you comfortable where you're at? I mean, in an ideal situation, how many players, student athletes, would you like to have on a roster?
I'd like to say perfectly like 45 to 48. I think that's a roster that can overcome some injuries and some of the variables you get during the long season. I feel like we're about 35 right now, so we're in pretty good shape. We're not lacking. We may have, if everyone's rosters are current right now, I think we might have the second largest roster in the conference. So I think we're in pretty good shape as far as that goes.
Coach, weather-wise, looking outside now, and I'm seeing it's snowing, it's freezing rain. We got a foot of snow out there. Just how do you practice? How do you get ready for your season? Because you're supposed to have a game on Saturday.
Well, yesterday we were outside.
Yeah.
We've been outside twice, and outside it's not what you'd call a not snow-covered field. It's got a little bit of snow on it. But we have our outdoor facility. Our facilities group is doing a nice job keeping that available to us when they can. We had a little bit of snow and we got some high winds, so we'll be inside today. But our inside facilities are adequate. I'd like to have the Carrier Dome here, but we don't have it, so we have to adapt a little bit. But I think we have plenty of support, like I said. So we weren't necessarily ruling out playing on grass this Saturday or the following Wednesday. We have 2 scheduled home games. If I was a betting man, I'm not sure I would bet they were going to happen.
But you probably played lacrosse, and obviously it's an outdoor sport. If you don't have the Carrier Dome like they have at Syracuse, but so you probably played in your tenure a lot of adverse conditions.
Oh, good God, yes. There was a game, my very first scrimmage game in Oneonta, where we went to Cornell to scrimmage them, and it was like 4 degrees, and I didn't bring jackets or anything like that, so the coach couldn't take me off the field. And back in the 70s, you could pull a stunt like that. I don't think the trainers would let you do it now, but And like I said, the 70s, it was in the 80s, but still.
Yeah, you don't have to make yourself seem a little bit older than what you are, because people think you're old, Coach, right?
No, thanks for pointing that out.
One of the things that I like when I watched a lot of lacrosse online, trying to learn a little bit about the sport before we called some of it here on the Marian Sports Network. You mentioned early season matches. You always see the huge piles of snow that are plowed off or pushed off the field around, and to get those things cleared out to play.
Right, and Central New York, it's part of the territory. I think even in the South, you'll get that to a degree right now. But we're in the part of Wisconsin where, I was on the beach the other day. I don't know if they've told you where the beach is here, but it's really nice. We don't tell everybody though.
No, I have not. I lived here for 20-some years, and I don't think I've ever found the beach in February.
Yeah, you got to go through the tunnel. You go through the tunnel, you come out the other side. It's a beach. Very nice.
Coach, the Midwest Lacrosse Conference, just what's your take on this league coming over here?
It's a competitive league. First of all, it's a very large league. There's 12 teams in it. It's top to bottom. It represents this area very well. There's an NCAA bid at stake, and I think it's a certainly very vibrant league. It's going to be a challenge.
The preseason prognosticators had Marian picked in the middle of the pack. So what's it going to take for you guys to be there and push yourself up towards the top of the league?
Well, I think we're going to have to get fortunate. We're going to have to get a couple of bounces. I'm going to try to use every coaching cliche I can right here.
You are a veteran.
Yes, indeed. So, I think we have to prepare for these games, and we need to take advantage of our strengths in a deeper roster. And we need to be able to execute our game plan. The usual stuff.
What is your recruiting base like? Obviously East Coast. All over the country, all over the United States. Maybe even being outside the United States borders and such. Where do you look for potential student athletes?
Saskatoon. Saskatoon is where we're looking. Besides Saskatoon, though, the rest of Canada, we like Canada. We certainly like Wisconsin. We have a number of kids from Appleton and Green Bay in that area, and then Kettle Moraine very good down south. And there's actually a lot of talent here. Then there's an abundance of talent in Illinois, and we've got kids from 12 states. So, we've got kids from Arizona and Nevada and California. We've got a Canadian. We've got kids from a couple of different reservations here. We have some Oneida. We have a Mohawk. We have a couple of Sioux. So we're excited about that and bringing that international feel in the creators game.
When you're introducing a potential student athlete to Marian University, what do you say to them? What's the pitch to them to come to Marian to be part of not only the lacrosse program but also the Marian community?
Well, I think the community is the key. I think it's the overall vibe of the place and all the different athletic offerings we have and the intimate size for the classrooms and everything. I think there's a whole lot. There's a lot of things to be proud of and to hang your hat on here. And I think we're excited to have a kid visit. We think it shows real well. We think that our team shows real well. We're really proud of our kids. We raised the GPA over a point this year, so really proud of our academic progress. So I think sky's the limit.
Coach, I think, sometimes coaches say stuff like that. They think it's just lip service. But I've seen, you can tell you already have a passion for Marian University. I see you at events all over campus, all over town that are tied to Marian. You already embraced the culture and everything that goes on here at Marian, haven't you?
I have. And I tried to see every team so far. I think I'm doing well. I might have missed one or two, but I certainly try to get to all the events. And, I've never been at a campus where we've had a hockey team, much less four. So, that's a good thing. It's exciting.
Coach, if people are looking for more information, if there's a potential student athlete watching right now saying, hey, I want to be a part of the Marian men's lacrosse program, how do they get in contact with you?
Well, you can find us on the web. That's probably the number one way. We read our emails. We answer quickly. I have a cell phone. They can contact me on that, and they can contact me on my office phone too. So
if they go to saberathletics.com, they'll be able to find all your contact information and start the process rolling about potentially becoming a Sabre.
Yes, and there's a very scary picture of me there too. So if they need to scare their children, they can show that picture.
Well, Coach Bob Leary, we're supposed to play a game on Saturday. I haven't heard the official word that we're not playing, so maybe I'll grab a shovel after we're done here and kind of help out the team. But Marian Men's Lacrosse, if you check out saberathletics.com, you can get the schedule, get stats, get information. Coach, good luck, and I'm sure we'll talk as the season goes along.
Thank you very much.
Marian Men's Lacrosse, you have been watching a Sabre Spotlight on the Marian Sports Network.